What is happening, movie fans, Transformers fans alike? Welcome back to the channel. I am Dial, and this is another edition of my life. Today is Transformers Tuesday. We are back talking about Transformers. We're on the road to Transformers Rise of the Beasts. We're going to be talking about every Transformers movie leading up to Rise of the Beasts coming out in June. We have already talked about the original animated movie from 1986, The Transformers, the movie. If you guys haven't seen our review and live stream for that, I'll put a link in the description below so you guys can watch it. But we are continuing on. It is now time to talk about the Michael Bay Transformers films. The time has come. We're going to rip the band-aid off. Today we'll be yeah, I know. I know. It's going to be a very interesting journey going into these Michael Bay films. But we are going to be starting with the one that came out in 2007, the one that started it all, simply called Transformers. And joining with me today, I have fellow YouTuber and Transformers enthusiast. Once again, joining with me, I have Big B.
Hello. Glad to be back again. Glad to be talking about Transformers again. Always one of my favorite things to talk about.
Absolutely. Glad you could be on. Hold on, before we begin, let me see. I forgot the music. We gotta put some music on the background. Nope, not that one. Not that one. There was the one there's the one I had last time. I wonder which one it was. Nope, not that one. Yep, it is that one. That's the
There we go.
There we go. All right. Before we get into this, let us look in the comments. Right now, we have Vortex here. What is up, Vortex? Appreciate you being here.
Vortex.
Yep. And then you asked me, do I want to join that server? Usually, I don't know. We could probably deal with that later. I don't even know that much about the server that you guys are on. We could figure that out later. But I appreciate the love, and he's going to help me share my stream out there. So appreciate the support. Also, we have George in the comments. What is up, man? Glad you could be here. The first live-action Transformers film is still a late 2000s classic for me. I enjoy it a lot, even today, despite how the sequels turned out. All right, yeah, definitely. I share some of your thoughts about it. We are definitely going to get into it right now. You guys let me know if the music's too loud, if you can still hear us, if everything's good. That'd be great. But anyway, enough of those. Oh yeah, Blue Jay's in the comments. What is up, Blue Jay? Said this film is his jam. All right. Also, you guys like my new intro? You guys like the new background I have? I like. Oh, it's really nice. I hope you guys enjoy it. Had to switch up the brand's look a little bit, update some stuff. So I hope you guys like it and my new intro as well. But enough of those shenanigans. It is time. Let us get into Transformers 2007. And as always, we got to remind the viewers out there that this is a spoiler-filled discussion. We're going to be talking about this movie as if you've already seen it. But as I said, this movie came out in 2007. Like, it's over 15 years old, I think. If you guys have not seen Transformers 2007, the Michael Bay Transformers film, I don't know what you're doing. Actually, you're probably doing yourself a favor because it goes downhill with all these movies.
I mean, to be fair, there are multiple places where you could just get the movies for like $5, man. You might as well just go ahead and do that.
I think I remember seeing like some of the films like in Walmart or like in Meijer. It's in that discount like tray with all the other
Yep. Yep,
DVDs.
the whole 5-movie bundle. Yep.
And then it's weird because like I think Paramount Plus has most of the Transformers movies, but then like some of them are spread out with other streaming services like Revenge of the Fallen and what was it? Dark of the Moon. Yeah, they're on Netflix, but I don't know where the other ones are streaming at the moment.
Yeah, Paramount Plus, last I checked, has Last Night and Bumblebee. I don't think they have any of the other ones right now.
Okay.
The other ones, I think if you're trying to watch them on a streaming service, you either need like some sort of premium subscription to like HBO Max or something, or you're gonna need to use like a VPN or something, man.
Yeah,
4 and 5. Yeah.
yeah, but yeah. Point is, there are plenty of ways for you to find these movies. So if you have not seen the first Transformers movie, we might have some slights. We might talk about slight things about the future movies, slight sports for the other ones. So it might come up in conversation. But anyway, as I said, you have been warned at this point. Spoilers on. All right. So, um, coming off of the animated movie, I enjoyed it quite a bit. Big B was a really big fan of it as well. That was the first Transformers movie I've ever seen. I did watch a little, as I said before in the previous stream. I have watched pretty much every incarnation of Transformers, especially the G1 cartoon. Um,
Mhm.
so I do have like some good knowledge of the lore, not completely. Like there's I haven't seen. I don't know every transformer. I don't know every single thing about where the backstory and the lore and all that stuff. I just have a general understanding of it. That's why I have Big B here to help me out with.
Hello.
But anyway, coming off the animated movie, I really really enjoyed it. And I was watching that to get ready for this new Michael Bay Transformers film. So when this movie first came out, this was before I knew all about you know who Michael Bay was as a director. This was before I even got into like who was directing movies and stuff like that. And this was the second Michael Bay film I've ever seen. Before this, I saw Bad Boys 2. Younger than I should have, I'll admit. My dad took me to see it in the theater, so it tells you how, I have some awesome parents sometimes. But yeah, so this is the second Michael Bay film I've ever seen. But yeah, this before I even knew who he was. It was before I even knew about his reputation as a filmmaker and stuff like that. I was just excited to see a live action Transformers movie. Um, so I remember when I saw the marketing for this movie, I thought it looked awesome. Like at the time, I know at this point we've seen so much when it comes to like sci-fi and like the technology they put in films as far as special effects and stuff like that. We've seen a lot. We've come so far. We just got off of seeing Avatar: The Way of Water, and we've seen how groundbreaking the special effects were. Like nothing's like it. But way back in 2007, before the first Avatar was even coming out, we had this movie, and as far as the trailers and just seeing how awesome this movie looked, I don't think there was anything like it when it first came out. As far as the technology and like how they were able to mix the practical and the CGI for that, that type of movie, that type of sci-fi action film, it looked groundbreaking at the time. Though I will say, as a Transformers fan, seeing how they changed the look of the Transformers to modernize it for today, I will say, as a kid, I was a little bit cranky about that. I was a little upset. I'm like, why did they look so different from the cartoon? Like, what's going on right now? But yeah, that was a little bit pick a vibe. But other than that, the trailers looked awesome. And what I liked about the trailers is that wasn't giving much away as far
Mhm.
as like if you didn't know anything about Transformers, if you just went off of the marketing for that movie, like they didn't have any Transformers speak in that movie. They barely showed like a full on Transformer on screen. Like they would like show like close-ups and stuff like that, and it would show the humans like getting chased from something you didn't know exactly what it was. You could tell it was some sort of alien robot, but you didn't get a full image of it. They were teasing the crap out of you as
It's
far as
such a rarity nowadays.
I know. It's like most these days they want to give you everything in the trailer. So like it's really cool that back then like they knew how important it was for people to actually wait and see what you're going to get with the film, so they weren't giving anything away. So I actually respected that. Like even they even could have easily just had Optimus Prime speak in the trailer, but I don't even think they did that. Like they didn't even show
Not that I
Optimus Prime
know
speak.
of.
They
Not that
had
I know of.
Yeah, I even remember there's probably like one, maybe two shots out of all the marketing where we actually saw Optimus Prime. So I'm like, because they were mostly focusing on Bumblebee. which yeah, because he ends up being the main Transformer that we follow with Shia LaBeouf, so that's
Mhm.
understandable.
I mean, it was either Bumblebee or Blackout because of the whole airbase scene. They were marketing
Oh,
the mess out of that. That was.
oh, yeah, I remember that too. Like that blew me away that when I saw that. But yeah, the marketing was really cool. I was really excited to see this. So yeah, this was the first Transformers movie I saw in theaters. Obviously, because the 1986 one came out before I was born. So I was excited to see this, man. Um, and when I first saw this in the theater, I loved it. I thought it was awesome. I thought it was one of my favorite sci-fi films at the time. Like I had such a blast watching it for a good amount of years till I was like in high school or like that was a movie I would watch all the time. I got the 2 disc special edition of the DVD. You know, back when we had DVDs. Now it's all about Blu-rays and 4Ks. But I had the 2 disc special edition of Transformers. And I would watch it all the time. I even got the soundtrack to the movie because I thought the soundtrack was really good because we had he had Linkin Park and stuff like that. Although they ended up being the main um, people to do the theme for the Transformers films as we go along. But yeah, I was obsessed with this film. Years later, today, now that I'm a full-fledged adult, and we've seen the rest of the Michael Bay Transformers films up until this point, transitioning into Bumblebee and stuff like that. And now rewatching this, it's been a while since I rewatched this. I think it's been like a couple of years since I rewatched this. And I'll be honest, after the sequels came out, it kind of ruined my it didn't I wouldn't say completely ruined, but like it kind of affected my enjoyment of this movie to the fact where I didn't feel like I wanted to rewatch this as much anymore after those sequels. But rewatching this, um man, I'll admit there's still a good amount of nostalgia watching this film. There's still a lot of things that I do enjoy about this movie. But getting the context of what we're going to get, and like now that I have a full understanding of how Michael Bay is as a director, I don't love this movie as much. Um, I think it's good. It's good. Um, Dude, I don't love this movie now. I'm starting to notice the Michael Bay isms and how the story plays out and the dialogue. There's some stuff in this movie that I felt like didn't work very well. Rewatching this again, there's some really awkward and bad dialogue in this movie. And as far as the plot, I mean, it's very straightforward. It's probably the most focused plot we've got until we get to Bumblebee. So as far the plot's not that bad in this movie, but there was some inconsistencies and some dim-witted stuff with the plot, and I have some gripes about the changes they did with the Transformers themselves, their lore, and specifically how the action scenes were shot. I have some gripes here and there, but in general, it's a fun movie. Now knowing how Michael Bay is, I'm surprised that he was able to pull off this movie as well as he did. Because I think this is the first like kids movie he's done. This is not really a kids movie, but it's based off a kids property. I think this is the first PG-13 movie he's ever made because his other movies are rated R, like hard R. So I'm surprised they got Michael Bay to do this movie, but in a way I kind of get it because like as far as him shooting action sequences, I'll admit he has a really good eye with shooting action scenes, and he is one of the few people that still believe in practical effects, practical explosions, practical stunts, and he does a good job mixing that with the CGI and like the special effects with the Transformers. He does a really good job in this movie. There's still stuff in here that I think is still groundbreaking, and for the most part, the effects of this movie hold up really, really well, really, really well. But I don't think this is the definitive live action Transformers movie. Like, I feel like there still could have been more potentially could have done with this. And I think the only reason it's as good as it is that Michael Bay, they held him back a lot. They told him, you can't do your crazy stuff that you usually do with the other movies. And I think Steven Spielberg had a good had a good like um I think he had a good amount of involvement in here because I did feel some Spielberg influences in here, and I'm sure he's the one that told him, "Look, you can't go too crazy. Remember, this is a property for kids. You can put some stuff in here, but you got to be family friendly." And
Hmm.
so, yeah, in general, I think it's a good movie. I enjoy it, but I don't think it's great. And we'll get into the issues as we go along. But that's my long-winded thoughts on Transformers 2007. I'm very interested to hear your thoughts, man. Tell me, what did you think about Transformers?
So I like to look back on this film fondly. I whenever I look at it, like George said, I do just try to stop at Dark of the Moon because anything after that, I just don't pay any mind to. Um, like thinking back on the marketing for this, the old Mars rover teaser that they did back in like I think it was like either early 2007 or like late 2006 is like forever stuck in my mind. It was such a fantastic teaser for it. And then you had the internet going crazy with like different videos. And I remember as a kid, like just looking through YouTube the best I could for just any little scrap of information. There were tons of like old videos of people like making these CGI models of like like it was so cool to see like how much of a buzz this movie made. Um, and I remember 2007 finally seeing what Optimus looked like because there was like some sort of like shot that came up in a trailer or something where people finally saw it. And I remember the biggest controversy was hot rod flames. Nobody wanted the hot rod flames. Everybody was talking about the hot rod flames. I didn't like I kind of jumped on the bandwagon because everyone else was hating it at the time. Looking back on it now, I actually kind of like the hot rod flames look. I still own a few figures from when those movies came out where yeah, he has the hot rod flames and everything and I think it's a nice look for him. But I remember the main thing I didn't like as a kid was that he was a long nosed truck instead of a flat nosed truck like he is in the 80s. But no, I mean, this movie, like isolated by itself, I think is amazing. And, even keeping the first two sequels in mind, and even the latter two sequels in mind, um, I think this film is still amazing. And it's in my top two in terms of like the movies from that era. However, when you put Bumblebee in there, which we'll get to eventually, that to me is like the definitive live action Transformers movie.
At least the first 10 minutes.
Well, yes. The first 10 minutes, yes, for sure, the first 10 minutes. But no, I loved this film. The human characters were a little wonky looking back on it. Um, But anytime the Transformers are on there, even now looking at it, it's like, oh man, like it's such just a marvel of like CGI technology and just how far, you know, things could have been pushed back then or could even be pushed now. Cause even now I think those effects hold up. But um the writing and the story were kind of but overall it's just a fun film to watch. And like if you turn your brain off to like the sequels after Dark of the Moon, I think it's just a fun one to just sit back and enjoy. I love this film. It's not my favorite, but I love it.
Mhm. Let's look at the chat real quick. Chat break. It said this film introduces me to Transformers and got me into the entire franchise. Oh, that's cool. That's really cool. I think this movie did it for a lot of people. I think this is the movie that really brought Transformers into the mainstream. Where before then it felt like another nerdy niche that people have. Like, oh, only the dorks like Transformers. But like this one, like really brought it into the modern era and
Oh
it'll
yeah.
be one of the biggest franchises of all time. Uh,
Made Transformers cool.
yes, they Transformers cool, man. Um, and then we have George said, "I like to think the franchise ended with Dark of the Moon." Oh, just like Big B said, it ended with Dark of the Moon. Yeah, man. I have some. I I guess I'll say up ahead. Like I have some major issues with Revenge of the Fallen, but as far as the
Same.
yeah, but as far as the trilogy, I guess like yeah, the Age of Extinction and The Last Night. That I want it to be done after that. But anyway, we're moving too far ahead. Let's talk about the good one. Let's talk about the good Michael Bay movie. Okay, so yeah, to get back to yeah, we talked about it just now that like yeah, the effects for this movie is still hold up to this day. I 100% agree. Um yeah, and it's like the effects for like just the way that we see them transform alone, I think is absolutely awesome. There's so much detail into how they transform. Even though I feel like there's a lot of moving parts more than I would like, but just like
Mhm.
I can only imagine like how they designed this, you know?
So I actually kind of looked into that, kind of to interject. There's literally thousands of moving parts on all those CGI models. My heart goes out to all those designers.
Yeah,
Honestly.
yeah, like man, like somebody had to like write that, they like had to draw that as a concept, and then they have to put it in the computer and like make 3D models of that, and then they have to make the models move in a way that's realistic,
Mhm,
and then they have to put the coding on it and the colors and make sure that it's able to translate to real life, make it look as realistic as possible, which means you
mhm,
have to put light reflections on the car, the shadow work, the dirt being with its environment, whether it's on dirt or it gets scratched up, they have to put stuff on there. So it's like,
mhm. Parts falling off and everything, and God, then because Hasbro's involved, some poor sap has to turn that into a toy.
God, man, like much respect to all those people that had to work on this. Like this is fantastic. It's amazing how much detail they
Mm,
put into this, man. And as I said, like and I believe these giant robots are there. They look like they're actually there. And them just transitioning into actual practical cars. Like I haven't seen this good of like mix of CGI and practical since Jurassic Park. Like, and it's such a coincidence that Steven Spielberg produced this, but like as I said, I just felt so much Spielberg influence on this. Like they used CGI when it was absolutely necessary. When Michael Bay
mhm,
when they had cars to use, they would use cars. When they actually needed explosions, practical explosions. They want to see tanks fly. You actually see tanks fly. Like
the
it's
amount of vehicles that had to be purchased or rented for this film is insane. I don't even want to see what the like. I mean, I've seen what the budget was for that movie, but
yeah.
golly.
Golly. So they actually had faith in this because, like, as I said, this is a property that like was for kids and like not everybody was into this. So in a way, you could look at this and be like, this is kind of a gamble. Them putting all this money and resources into this film. You know. I'm gonna look up real quick, unless you already have it already. I'm gonna look up the budget of
The
Transformers.
I actually know it, and
Okay.
I sure it was 140, which at the time
Oh,
certainly a lot more than it is now.
you said 140 million?
Say,
Oh, you broke up again. Sorry. Say that
oh
one more time. Say it one more
yeah,
time.
yeah. It was 147 million.
It was only 147 million.
I mean, well, let's see. Converting that to today, inflation calculator. Here we go. So 2007,
Because that looks like a
2023.
like today that looks like a $200 million movie. So for them to be
That
able to do
is.
that in $100 million budget, like that's nuts.
Yeah, I mean, I think part of it was a lot of the transformations. There were a good amount of transformations in the film, but a majority of them were off camera. So that's probably part of how they saved a little bit of money there.
Okay, yeah. So that's something I definitely want to get into later. But yeah, and then the box office they end up making $700 million. So definitely a success for them. And then this franchise goes on to make billions of dollars. So it's awesome.
Like it or
And
love it, it kind of put Transformers back on the map. To be honest, man.
it definitely did. It definitely did. And You know what? I'll say this now. I thought I was going to say this for sequels, but I'll save it now.
Hmm.
If if the writing was better in these movies, I think they could have been on the same level as Avatar, if not that very close, very
I,
close.
I'm inclined to agree on that. I'm inclined to agree.
Because like just the effects alone, as we said, are groundbreaking, and like it's a shame that they didn't live up to the full potential of these characters and their lore. But like if they actually leaned into that and like it was actual story that a lot of people cared about, we see how shitty movies they still made $1 billion. So just
Hmm.
think, if these movies were great, they would have broke the box office, man.
Yeah, I mean, even then, if they would have done something as simple as, because like one thing that you're probably going to hear me echo across all these films is that it focuses too much on made these humans more, maybe made them seem like they actually like each. You know, I feel like even that would have improved it.
Yeah, just if the humans alone were like if they made them better, it would definitely would have helped a lot. Um, but yeah, one approach that I did really like with this movie, because like okay, yeah, we want the Transformers to be front and center. We're annoyed that the humans are the main focus of a Transformers movie. They're treating the Transformers like secondary characters or special effects. We're annoyed at that, absolutely. But I feel like in this movie, the way they approached that, I think it kind of worked better than it did
Hmm.
with the other
Hmm.
sequels, because because they know that Transformers is a property that not everybody knows. So the best way for them to lean into this franchise is to have humans that we can attach to help us like get into this world with all these giant alien robots. So I liked with this approach. It felt like they were leaning more into like the it's more like a alien invasion type of movie, like a Close Encounter
Yes.
of the Third Kind type of film.
Yes.
So we're seeing the Transformers, we're being introduced to the Transformers from the human's point of view. Like there's this alien invasion going on. We don't know what's happening. We don't know what they want and stuff like that. It's like, and I think that made it helped to make the action scenes towards the beginning more thrilling because they treated them like actual monsters at first. And then they slowly transitioned to seeing, oh, these robots actually have personality. They actually
Hmm.
have a mind of their own. So I thought that was a really good approach. It reminded me, as I said, it reminded me of stuff like ET or Alien or yeah, Close Encounter of the Third Kind. So I actually did like that approach. Uh, yeah, how do you feel about that overall?
Yeah, yeah, no, I mean, I fully agree on that. Like, I like to think of this film as like three different or I guess two different genres technically, because you got like the first half of the film is like sci-fi horror, because you got like it's mainly the Decepticons. Like Frenzy sneaks onto Air Force One and just starts killing people left and right, and
Yeah.
like they don't show him too much, so like a lot of it is like, oh, you're from the human's perspective. They're trying to secure the plane or whatever, and they're just getting laid out. And then you even have the whole desert scene with Scorponok, where that's like chilling how they went and filmed that. And then, of course, you got that transition towards the middle where it just becomes more of a sci-fi action film where you're like, oh, like you said, yeah, these Transformers have personalities. There is a good and bad here. And, it seems like we're just caught in the middle of their war. And yeah, no, it is more from the human's perspective and everything. And I like how they did it with this one. They kind of were very clumsy about it in the second one, and then better about it in the third one. But yeah, with the first one, I think they pulled that off really well, and it worked. It did favors for this film, especially as a nice introduction to a whole new universe for the franchise.
Absolutely, absolutely. Um, okay, you want to talk about the Transformers first? Or you want to talk about the humans first?
Well, there are a lot of humans. There are
Yeah,
a lot of humans. I mean, it would
yeah.
probably be easier to go through the Transformers first, but I'll leave that up to you. Actually, yeah.
Yeah. Now that you brought that up, yeah, you're right. There is a lot of humans to get into, but so I think yeah, we should start with the Transformers then. Um, I do have a lot to say. I have a lot of things to say as far as them. Now, before we get into the individual ones, I will say that as far as this being how good of an adaptation this is from the original cartoon, uh, it's fine. It's fine. There's a lot of changes that they did. There's a lot as far as how they look, their backstory, what they're able to do. But I would say there's like a 60% that is changed. It's a different adaptation, and then 40% where they kept the spirit of the Transformers for the most part. But where they did keep the spirit, I think it was the important parts. I think for the most part, like Optimus Prime felt like how he was supposed to be. Megatron, for the most part, felt like he was supposed to be. They understood Autobots were good, Decepticons were evil. Uh, the mention of, I guess, the All Spark thing that was changed quite a bit. Um,
Yeah.
the I guess the whole like the how they live the All Spark thing, they kind of kept that intact, I guess. Uh, Cybertron, they pretty much they it's kind of pretty similar. Like it's the general stuff. Like they establish the Autobots and Decepticons had war on Cybertron, so much so that it destroyed their planet, and so. Where the lore counted for the most part, they kept that intact, but a lot of other stuff got changed around.
Yeah.
Um, Before we get into the actual individual characters, how did you feel about the changes that they made in general? Like, do you feel like this still kept the spirit and essence of Transformers?
So, I guess I kind of have to divide that into two separate things, like aesthetically and then like character wise.
Right.
Aesthetically, they part of the way did it, like, Bumblebee's yellow. Okay, cool. He turns into a car. All right, cool. Optimus Prime is red and blue. Neat. He turns into a truck. Yeah, cool. He has a cool little face mask and a cool little head design. All right, yeah, cool. You kept that. He's recognizable. Ironhide likes weapons. All right, that's implied, I guess. So yeah,
Jazz is
sure.
black.
Yeah. Jazz is black. He likes music. All right, cool. Ratchet's the medic. Yeah,
Yeah.
Starscream. He's got a little bit of a plain shape. He's more of a metal Dorito now, but
Oh God.
Megatron kind of has a little bit of the bucket head. It's a lot better than what they were originally going to go with from the concept art, but you
Oh,
know,
I didn't even know what they were gonna do with the concept art.
man, it was messy. But no, I mean aesthetically, they kinda nailed it. I remember as a kid being really annoyed that none of them really had like the Decepticon or Autobot symbols just like plastered on their shoulders or anything.
Right, like you literally had to
Yeah,
look for it if they had it. Like it's
yeah,
like in the middle of all the other pieces or whatever.
yeah. Looking back on it now, really great change. I like it. It's kind of the whole robots thing. Yeah, it's kind of hard to be in disguise when you got like your big old symbol on your shoulder. But um, then character wise, I think that they got, yes, like the essence of every character. Green, Megatron, their dynamic. Yeah, they got that. They got that down fully. Cool. You know, Optimus being the way he is for this film. Yes, they did nail his
For
character.
this film.
But later films, which we'll get to, not so much.
Okay. Well, let's get into each of the Transformers, and we'll do the comparisons as we go on. Let us start with the man himself, Optimus Prime. Um, I think he looks great. I think he looks absolutely great. And yeah, we talked about earlier that people who didn't like the flames, and honestly, that's not really a big deal to me. Like,
Mhm.
is he red and blue? Yes, he's red and blue. So
Right.
I thought it was fine. Now, do you see a lot of red and blue flamed trucks like that in real life? Probably not. But uh, I don't know. I think it's like a lose-lose situation because like even if they went with like the prime red and white blue colors that we see from the G1 cartoon. Again, do you see a lot of red, white, and blue trucks like that in real life? Not really. So I think that was the best way they could like try to modernize it and make it believable that a truck with those colors would be here in real life. Because
Mhm.
like I do remember there, I would do see some colors on like trucks like that where they would have flames or different designs like that. Um, I think I even had a toy that it's not a Transformers toy. It's just like a regular truck toy because I used to have played with trucks as a kid. I think there would be a couple of trucks that would have flames on it or stripes and stuff like that, or sometimes animal prints on it. So I thought it was fine. You know, as far as like he still had his headpiece look pretty much like the original cartoon. He has the antennas and he has the mouth guard. Okay, now here's another point of contention that people have that they don't like that they gave Optimus Prime a mouth and the guard like comes on and off sometimes whenever he wants. I really don't care personally. It's fine. Like it's just the mouthpiece. I don't really care about that, but like that seems to be a point of contention for Transformers fans. How do you feel about it?
Look, man, I mean, Transformers, Cybertron, both of those Optimus Prime had a mouthpiece that turned into a mouth. They like, I don't even know why people. But with the other aesthetics thing, like you mentioned the flames and how like, oh, it's kind of hard to picture a truck that's, looking like that in real life. And yeah, I mean, they kind of had to keep the red and blue. You can't have Optimus Prime and be like, oh, he's green and yellow. That's a whole different character,
Uh,
Toxitron. But that's, you know,
yeah.
but I mean, like, with the flames, I feel like that was more of Michael Bay's influence kind of coming into that character design. That feels like a very Michael Bay thing to do.
Yeah.
They could have gone with a more subdued look, like, oh, he has like a, he's red with like a blue stripe or something like that. They could have done something like that. And it's like, okay, it's believable that that could be a truck in disguise. But like, you see a truck with like, that's red and blue with hot rod flames. Oh, that's Optimus. That's that
Yeah.
thing's not a normal truck. But
Yep. And then what I also loved, they got Peter Cullen to come back and voice Optimus. I thought
mhm.
it was absolutely great. They brought him back. And man, like he's still voicing it to this day. He's about to be him in Rise of the Beast. Like, bruh.
Yeah, no, he wants to keep voicing him as long as he can. It's funny, they initially weren't gonna get Peter Cullen.
mm,
Initially they wanted to do Liam Neeson.
Honestly, that would have been a cool choice too. I
That
would be
I would have
interested to
been
see
down
what
for
he.
that, but
Yeah,
but
yeah,
Peter Cullen's fantastic. So,
yeah.
I have
Peter
no
Cullen is
complaints
great.
there.
Yeah, so as long as he wants to voice it, I'm definitely up for it. Because they do end up changing the voice for Megatron, which we'll talk about later. And another thing that I loved about Optimus in this movie, that they still kept him as the peaceful warrior. Like that's what I loved about it, because then the other future films kind of.
Yeah, later on when he
Yeah,
finds his favorite word in the dictionary, yeah,
yeah, but in this movie, I'm glad that they still kept that. They understood that Optimus Prime, isn't out to like kill every Decepticon or every Transformer. Like he tries to negotiate. He tries to be a peaceful warrior. He does the right thing. So I'm glad they kept that intact. Um, okay, moving on. Bumblebee. Bumblebee. Okay. I have a love-hate relationship with this. So sorry, what'd you say?
I'm gonna be honest, man. I got mostly this one.
You got mostly negative.
Yeah, most relationship one, man. Honest with you.
Oh boy. Well, yeah. So, yeah. Okay. So I understand the marketing strategy they were trying to do with him. I get it. They. This is the person. This is the Transformer that's appealing to the younger audience. You know, so they did the whole gimmick with this movie that he lost his voice during the Battle of Cybertron and he has to talk through the radio. Okay, and and they make him like the silly character. They make him the fun one. He likes to play around and stuff like that. Okay, cool. And I would say the chemistry that he has with Sam Witwicky, it does work for the most part. I get what they're trying to do with this film. And look wise, he's still yellow. And that's about it. That's about it.
Yeah,
Everything
yeah.
else, I'm just like, no, 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 no. I mean, does he look bad? No, but just like as far as a straight up adaptation of Bumblebee, this is not. This is not Bumblebee. It's not. This is what he looks like in the show. Where are the
Hmm.
horns? Why does he have? Why does he have antennas? Why does he not have a mouth? Like what? What they actually give him like antennas like a bee, like an actual bee, and they give him stripes like a bee, and I'm just like, okay, you're taking it way too literal, man.
Hmm.
But yeah,
They,
they
yeah.
go ahead, man.
I was gonna say they even made fun of the original Volkswagen mode in, in the car shop scene.
Bruh,
It was-
that was
I was like, I was a little mad about that.
I was mad too, man. Because I was like, how dare you, man? Literally had the Camaro come and smash the bug right next to him. That was so disrespectful. That was definitely a Michael Bay thing in there. Like, man, the bug is lame. Why is he transformed into a bug? Nobody drives that no more. We need him in a cooler car, man. Put him in a Camaro.
Oh man.
God, bruh. But man, yeah. Okay, I get another thing. Once again, I understand they have to modernize it for a general movie going audience for the casuals. If they did try to make Bumblebee a bug in this movie, you will have people making fun of him. It's
Yes.
going to happen. I'm
Yes.
sorry. I hate to even admit that because like I love Bumblebee from the original cartoons. Like I think he's great. I didn't care that he was a bug. He was still a cool character, but they have to modernize it for today, and I understand it. As far as him transforming into a Camaro, the old Camaro, I thought it was fine. It was cool. I kind of liked that Camaro, but when he turns into that modern Camaro, I'm just like, okay, this is Michael Bay just being like, we need him in the most fanciest car possible. I'm like, okay, if you didn't want him in a bug, fine, but can't you get a nice car that looks anything like a bug, anything similar looking?
Nah, man. Sports cars, women, football. That's Michael Bay's like top three.
America, America. But but God, man, I just the car looks cool. The car looks nice. The way it's shot, the way it's used in the action sequence, it looks cool. Okay, it does. But I just don't like that they adapted it so much. They changed it so much, and like I just didn't like that they just turned him into like a it pretty much felt like he was just there to sell products. That's all he did. With him talking through the radio, I didn't like that. I didn't like that. Now, it made it seem like at the end he was going to get his voice back, right? And in the
Mhm.
sequels, he was going to talk normal. But no, they kept him talking through the radio throughout the rest of the movies. And it just that annoyed me because Bumblebee is an actually interesting character. He actually has a voice. He actually has a personality. He's not stupid. He's not like a puppy. It's just like I don't like to turn Bumblebee into a puppy. Anyway, that's my whole rant. Go ahead, unload what you overall your thoughts on Bumblebee.
Yeah, while it's fresh in my mind, I'm gonna say like with you saying like he looks like he was made to sell products. Oh, kinda, yeah. And he definitely sold products, definitely for sure. Like he's basically the mascot of the series now. I mean, I think they're trying to replace him with Mirage now for the new film, which okay, but
Yeah,
so I did mention. I'll start with what I like. I'll start with what I like
sure.
because I did mention that I mainly hate this, and there's like one key reason for that. But so things I like, the car mode, yeah, making fun of the bug, whatever. That was like you got a little jab in, whatever. I I get that like if the all these other like new sleek looking vehicles for the other Transformers, he would kind of stick out like a sore thumb. So I get it. I get it. Um, you know, And yeah, you know, I get that he was kind of meant to be like the kid appeal character because in G1 they tried to make it Hound, and then you know it didn't work out. Bumblebee became the mascot character, so they got to make him the kid appeal character. And you know, obviously in the Michael Bay universe, Hound is not kid friendly, but but
Yeah.
the thing that makes me mainly have like a hate relationship with the Michael Bay universe Bumblebee is the fact that he doesn't have a voice. And it's not because at the time, like at the time I was fine with it. It was a little annoying like trying to figure out what he was saying by the radio, but you know, it was fine. The thing I hate is that they took that character trait and essentially from that day forward we're like this is Bumblebee. So almost every single version of Bumblebee outside of the one that's in the new series on Paramount Plus, Earthspark, outside of that one, all just about every single Bumblebee does not have a voice, at least starting off, and usually talks through the radio, or in Transformers Prime he talks through beeps, or you know in Transformers what was it, Cyberverse, he's just mute, just straight up mute. So like that the fact that that echo is felt like almost a iteration of the character made me grow to just hate this version of this character.
Totally understandable. Like, yeah, like every other show copied this because that was the most popular version. I think the only show that didn't do that was Transformers Animated on Cartoon Network. They actually gave
Yes,
him a voice again.
yes.
So I was happy about that. And I think there was this other like little kids Transformers movie. I forgot what it was called, like Rescue Bots or something like that. I think.
Oh yeah, Rescue Bots. I think I never watched that, but they might have given B a voice there. I don't know.
I don't know. But anyway, but yeah, man, just I know it's they're using I get their marketing strategy. I get it. Like I be seeing in the comments right now, my mom's favorite Transformer is Bumblebee. Yeah, that's the people that Bumblebee was the first movie figure in my Transformers toy collection. I'm seeing it all now. Like
I mean, pretty much same here. I'm gonna admit that was probably the first figure I bought too, but
yeah. So it worked. What they did, it worked. But just as a hardcore Transformers fan, it hurts that he just felt so different from the original. You know, because,
he's cool because he says movie and movie.
oh, hold on, say that one more time. Say it one more time.
Movie and music quotes, man. It's cool, you know.
Oh, dang! You keep breaking up, man. You keep breaking up. Okay, good. One more time. Okay.
Yeah, you know, it's cool because, you know, he talks in movie and music quotes. It's cool, you know.
He talks in movie quotes. Yeah, that would have been cool. I think I took it a little too literally. Like, oh, yeah, he does music quotes. Let's have him talk. Let's have him sing through the radio with pop songs. Oh, yeah. No, don't like it. Anyway, let's move on. All right, Jazz.
Oh man.
We thought it couldn't get worse with Bumblebee, but no, Jazz, man. Okay, we get it. He's black. We get it. God, man.
I mean, I'm gonna be honest, man. Like, I don't even really take issue with that. I take issue with the fact that they killed him before they could develop his character further.
I mean, that's another problem. But I know in the original cartoon, it's clear you can tell that it was voiced by a black actor. Which, okay, I'm glad that they got a black voice for him. But this is I think it's another one of the Bayisms where he likes to lean so much into the racial stereotypes and cliches, where like Jazz is literally the first lines of dialogue he says is, "What's cracking, little bitches? This looks like a cool place to kick it." Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and then it's like we learned Earth languages through the World Wide Web. Okay.
eBay.
Okay, then why is Optimus talking normal? Why is Ratchet talking normal? Why is Ironhide talking normal? But Jazz has to be a stereotypical black man.
Because he's the urban transformer, man.
So stupid. So stupid. And yeah, as you said, like and like that's the lasting impression of this character until he dies. He dies in this movie. And from the original cartoon, he's actually a really important transformer. He's one of the head cadets of the Autobots. Like, and they just kill him off like that. But like, oh, because he's the smallest transformer there. Like, I didn't like it. I did not like it. As far as his design, it's fine. It's cool. Um, I mean, his original design, like he was pretty much an old race car. He was red, white, and blue. He pretty much was a modern like Herbie type of. He had the
I
Herbie
think he was
color.
supposed to be. I think he was supposed to be Porsche. If I...
Yeah, he's supposed to be a Porsche, right? And what I don't was he a Porsche in this or was it an Aston Martin? I don't know. But like it was I don't know similar enough, I guess. I didn't mind that he was gray. As far as his robot design, I mean they gave him antennas and he gave him the visor, so I mean that's cool. One thing I do appreciate with these designs, with all the designs in general, because one of the gripes that I had from the original cartoon is there'll be certain things that they transform into that is not true to scale to what they are when they're robot form. Like when Megatron turns into a small gun that another Transformer can hold, or a Transformer would turn into a radio, or there would be some Transformers that can turn into CDs and they shrink into sound wave when he's a radio. So like that kind of messed with the physics a little bit. So I liked in this movie that whatever they transformed into, when they transform into robots, it's true to scale to what they transform into.
Mm-hmm. Funny thing, that's actually Michael Bay said, at least, that's why he didn't have Optimus turn into like a flat nosed truck like he does in the 80s, because he was like, he'd be too small. Even though Transformers 4 kind of proves that wrong, but
yeah, that is true. That's true. And like if that's the case, then I mean I'm sure like he would be similar in size if he was the flat nose and then like Ratchet was an ambulance. I think they would be around the similar size. And
yeah, what's he losing, like a foot?
Yeah, right. And like even if they were different sizes, like I still think that's cool. You like they don't all like just because Optimus Prime is the main Autobot doesn't mean he has to be the biggest one there. So I kind of like that they mess with the size a little bit. That Jazz is the smallest one, and Optimus is the biggest one, and yeah, just I liked all that. But yeah, as far as Jazz, like I and for them to kill him off, and not only that, he gets killed off in the most disrespectful way possible.
Man.
Megatron literally just snapping him in half, like you gonna want a piece of me? You want a piece of me? No, I want two, and that's it. That's it. You're done. Fatality.
Finish him.
God, man, that was so disrespectful. But yeah, man, they've done so much with that character, but it's whatever. And they could have brought him back, right? Because they still had like a piece of the spark, right? Like
yeah, they showed in later films that Bumblebee could just put himself back together. So I mean, just
like they could have brought Jazz back, but no, he's dead. He's gone. Like, no more of him. Okay, great. All right, moving on. Ironhide.
It's messed up too. Well, before you move on, what's messed up too? He has 9 lines in the entire film. 9 lines.
9 freaking lines, man. Like, other than what's cracking little bitches and you want a piece of me? He's like,
it's little throwaway stuff like the Decepticons are here. Look out.
What about Bumblebee? We can't leave him to die.
You're right.
God, man. He's supposed to be... He's actually second in command in some of the iterations, right? He's like...
Yes. I'm pretty sure he was second in command here.
Nope. So much for that. Oh, God, man. And, like... Ratchet! What you doing, Ratchet? Your brothers are dying. You could be fixing them, right? Come on, Ratchet, you're the medical officer. You don't do much medical stuff. You couldn't fix Bumblebee's voice. You couldn't bring Jazz back to life. What are you doing? Okay.
It's not a
Anyway,
lot he can do anyway.
I guess. As far as Ratchet, yeah, cool. It's fine. He feels like Ratchet. He has the older, distinguished voice, which I kind of liked. Um, and he looks nothing like the original cartoon, where
Golly.
man, like he's supposed to be like an actual like red and white ambulance, but like they even felt the need to modernize that for some reason. Like there's regular ambulances in real life, like
It wasn't even modernized. Like, if I saw that coming down the street, I'd be like, "What is that? What even is that?"
yeah, it's like a Hummer ambulance, a Hummer ambulance. Oh wow, okay. Don't see a lot of that. I guess that's for like heavy terrain or like there. I don't know.
I mean, I've also never seen a green ambulance ever in my life, man. I've
No,
never.
no, I've never seen that in my life. Like, yeah, it's very interesting. Like, you couldn't give him like the pointy like antenna piece that he has in the front, or
You know
like,
what? You know what's messed up? They did that with toys and in the games. They did that. There was a way to make it closer, like have like that same, and like it looked good on him. Looked good. I mean,
yeah, but
the design's now, but
yeah, I mean, it's fine. It's just like I, I don't I don't know, man. That's the adaptation he wants to do. Is like Michael Bay's like an ambulance is not cool looking enough. We need to make it a green Hummer ambulance, even though I don't think any of them exist. If
it's
there's
got to be striking colors.
striking color, why? What?
Yeah.
Okay, if there's anybody who lives in different parts of the country or a different continent, and if there's any ambulances that look like Ratchet, please let me know, because like that, no,
A
no,
little overkill.
a little overkill. And then speaking of overkill, Ironhide, what what are what?
I like him and Ratchet as far as those were the designs that used to annoy me the most, like just because of how much of a far cry it was from their original designs.
Yeah, honestly, yeah. I mean, well, as far as like Ratchet and Ironhide, like I didn't like it, but I'm like it's fine. At least they resemblance the vehicles that they were in real life. I mean, in the cartoon, it's not exactly like it, but at least they're like, okay, Ratchet is an ambulance, Ironhide is a truck. Okay, that's fine. But yeah, Ironhide like just looks like it looks like a chunky bear. Like I don't know, with the
Mm-hmm.
giant Gatling guns on his arm and like
Yeah.
the
It's got
really round torso and stuff like that. Like
and he's got permanent thrusting syndrome. Like it's like like his arms are always back here. It's something that carries over into all
permanent
the
thrusting
toys.
syndrome.
Yes, it's something that carries over into the toys too. Like anybody, I don't know if anybody in the comments owns one, but anybody who owns like the movie masterpiece version of the figure knows what I'm talking about. Where his arms are just permanently back here. He always just looks like he's thrusting. Like it's like I don't.
Yeah, I actually get that. Yeah, I get that. You said Ratchet design was the one that used to annoy you the most. Yeah, I get it. I definitely get it. Um, but yeah, man. I mean, this is what he looks like in the original cartoon. Look, see, simple, very simple. They didn't have a bunch of clunky stuff going on.
Yeah, nice red van.
Nice red van. Um, and I think it just goes into my general issue with how they modernize it. Like, I get they want to update some stuff to make it look cool, so it don't look lame. I get that, but um, the designs, it's too busy.
Mm-hmm.
There's too much going on with the parts. There's too much stuff all everywhere. Like all the gadgets and all that chunky stuff. Like there's not like a I'm not getting a good image of this is a humanoid looking robot, you know. And I get they lean more towards the alien aspect of it. I guess they wanted to have like an alien feel to them, but like there's no reason that there should be so many parts going on in these designs. It's just too
Right.
complicated.
Right. It makes no sense too that out of all of them, Optimus is the one that looks the most humanoid.
Yeah, he
Like
looks
what's like he's
like I
got
look
proper
at him.
hands.
Right, he got proper hands. Like I can see that's how the legs form. That's how the arms are. You know, and it's like, and when I look at him, comparing it to the cartoon, where it's like, yeah, they did some changes, but I could tell that's Optimus Prime. You know, but everyone else is just like, I, I don't know. And then
Who's this hunk of metal? What is this?
who is this? I don't know. But yeah, and then we you talked about it earlier, where it's like, how do they make toys out of this when there's so many parts to these transformers?
I have, like I said, I've got like, it's over that way, but I've got like a whole shelf of just like different figures and everything, and a bunch of them are from the Michael Bay universe, and it's a miracle whenever I see any of them that are actually able to transform. Like
I know. Which is like, you would think like they would lean more towards the toyetic nature of the Transformers to make it easier for them to sell toys, you know? Because, like, I don't think it'd be lame if they gave them the more simplistic designs, you know, where you can tell, like, the front of their piece is the front of a car, or, like, the side of the stuff is the wheels and stuff like that. Like, we saw in Bumblebee, that's how you're able to translate it to make it look as closely to the Generation 1 cartoon. It's not super busy. You can tell what they look like, but they did add some modern aesthetics here and there to make it look a bit cooler. So it's like, man, I wish they thought about all that, before Bumblebee, but it's whatever. It's fine. Anyway, it gets even worse when we get to the Decepticons. Oh my god. The Decepticons. What are they doing? Okay. So, let's start with Megatron. Uh, uh, okay. Once again, it's very similar with Bumblebee, where I understand what they're going for in this movie. They're leaning more towards the alien aspect of the Transformers. And if we look at Megatron, if we translate him into modern day, would he care to transform into a human vehicle? Not really. No. So I get him keeping his Cybertronian alien design. That's cool. That's fine. And as far as him looking more monster-ish, like, I kind of dig that. It made him look more intimidating. He had more of a presence, and I think he's the biggest transformer out of everyone in this movie.
Yes,
Like,
and he did haunt my nightmares, by the way, with that design. That was, yeah.
oh yeah, I thought it was great, and even with them changing his voice, because they got Hugo Weaving to voice Megatron in this, and I thought he did really good. He sounded scary. He had a more intimidating deep voice and stuff like that. Like, I thought he did a really good job voicing the character. And I also liked that he didn't transform into a small gun in this movie. He actually transformed into an alien plane, and it had a cannon in the front that was similar to what Megatron would have on his arm. So it's like, I kind of like that he transformed into an alien plane. I thought that was cool. But once again, this design is too busy. There's too many pieces all over his face. He looks like he's a porcupine in this, and it looks like he has some sort of like humanoid skin underneath the metal pieces. Like, if you look in his face and like his eyes, you look past the sharp points, it looks like he has some sort of synthetic skin underneath. And that was kind of weird looking. I don't know. Once again, love-hate relationship with this design, but I'm just like, it's just too much going on. What do you think about Megatron's design?
I mean, this design, I when I first saw the movie and got out of there, I could not remember what Megatron looked like. Not entirely, because there was just too much going on with that design. And there was, of course, the whole thing with the action scenes being very hard to follow in like that first film. And that design didn't help that at all. But, the design's definitely grown on me as the years have gone by. It's not my favorite Megatron design, but it's up
Definitely
there.
not.
And they kept they they kept his core character. You know, he's a human hating, intimidating leader. That's yeah.
Yeah. And you can kind of tell. You can kind of tell with his headpiece that he is what you can slightly see it forming that helmet that he has from the original cartoon. You kind of see a resemblance of that. Let me pull up the original design. Like you kind of see the headpiece that's trying to form a little bit. So I
Hmm.
kind of like that. Um, did you want him to have the cannon on his arm?
I did, and we did get that, and and like
Yeah, we got it later movies.
I did want that, but like I said, the like after looking at like concept art, they picked probably the best design out of all of them.
I would love to see how the other designs looked before they went with this. Oh man. And I don't know if you noticed this, but I'm gonna pull up my thumbnail real quick because like the oh wait, no, I don't have it. Never mind. But you remember one of the teaser posters where it showed like a side profile of Megatron and it looked like he had the more refined helmet. I
Hmm.
thought that was what we were gonna get in the movie, but no. Did that design in the teaser poster resemble anything from the older concept art?
No, actually, not at all. All the other concept art made him look like a Star Wars android or something out of Pacific Rim. Like, yeah, like it's bad. It's
All
bad.
right. All right. Well, glad we came out with the best outcome, I guess. Comment chat. Let's see what people are saying. People are digging. So there are some people that dig Megatron's design. They looked really scary. Um, George says it would have been cool to have Frank Welker voice Megatron like Peter Cullen voiced Optimus Prime again, but Hugo Weaving had a great voice. Yeah, like even though I agree, I do think Hugo still did a great job, but I think it would have been cool if they did get Frank Welker because they got Peter Cullen to come back as Optimus, so that would have been a nice homage there. But that's fine. That's fine. Um, okay, but okay, this, in my opinion, this character we're about to talk about, this is the worst design of all the Transformers in this movie. You probably might have an idea of who I'm about to talk about, but I saw this design and I'm like, no, absolutely not. No, 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 no. I did not like that. Where's the picture? I thought I had it. I thought I had it. Where's the picture? Oh no. See, I can't even tell because all the okay. Before we talk about this character that I'm about to say, you brought it up earlier. Like I'm even looking at the pictures that I saved, and I'm scrolling down, and I'm like, I can't even tell which Transformer is which because all of them look like sharp pieces all over. Like they all are gray. They all have sharp pieces. They all have a bunch of stuff going on with their design. I can't. It's hard for me to tell which one is which. And another issue that we had that you brought up earlier, the action scenes. There were some cool action scenes in this movie. There were some really well shot scenes, but then there are also some shots where the two things I hate in action scenes: close-ups and shaky cam. There is so much close-ups and shaky cam in this movie. Why? Like, okay, you want to hide the imperfections, you want to save on the budget. Okay, you want to work around this stuff, that's cool. But you really did a disservice with actually showing the Transformers in action, you know? Because like it's already hard enough. Like if the Transformers don't have primary colors, you will have a hard time following which Transformer is which, you know? Like the scene between Bumblebee and Barricade and the at the that plant,
Hmm.
I couldn't tell what was going on. It looked like there was a bunch of junk just being scrapped in front of the camera. Like I couldn't tell who was hitting somebody, if somebody was being thrown, and like it was ridiculous. And then the annoying thing is, while that scene is happening with Bumblebee and Barricade, we're following the humans. We're following Sam and Michaela running
Yeah, while
while
it's happening in the background,
you're in
yeah.
the background. I'm like, no, I want to see the giant monsters fighting. And then what's annoying, they cut away from them fighting, and we see Sam and Michaela dealing with Frenzy. Like, and then Obi-Wan, we don't see him defeat Barricade. He just beats him off screen. No question what happens off screen, but just that's annoying. So one of the positives I will give to the later sequels, that they learned their lesson, and they actually back up the camera, and we actually get better shots of them fighting.
Unfortunately, honestly, they didn't learn this lesson in the Michael Bay films. Not talking about the Travis Knight film, because that one was godsend, but you know, they didn't.
I do think in Revenge of the Fallen and Dark of the Moon, like, I was actually able to tell the scenes better than
yes, but I feel like they perfected it, unfortunately, in Transformers 5.
Yes.
Unfortunately, they perfected it
yes.
there.
Yeah. Like, what the hell, man? It took you this long to realize, oh, we actually want to see the Transformers in camera. Like, we actually need to see full shots. You thought about that 4 movies in, huh? All right. Great.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, and
yeah,
I think I know what Decepticon you're talking about too.
Yeah, let's get into it. Starscream. What the fuck is that? What the fuck is that?
It's a metal Dorito. That's what it is.
It's a metal Dorito. He's built like a chicken. What the fuck is this? I hate this design so much.
I don't see a lick of red and blue on that. I don't see
none. All gray, because they're like, oh, there's no red, white, and black jets in real life. That's ridiculous. We can't have that.
There's no truck with hot rod flames like that in real life. What are you talking about?
What are you talking about? And then, even if you didn't want the colors, why does he look like a chicken? Why does he look like a walking Dorito? Who came up with that design?
They could have slimmed it down. The Bumblebee movie proves that you could have slimmed it down.
Yeah, like we literally saw in the trailers. Like, we thought that was Starscream in the trailer, but it was a different Transformer. But literally, that looks exactly like Starscream. Looks so much better. This is what he looks like in the cartoon. Like, I'm sorry, one of these things just doesn't belong here. Like, no, did not like it at all.
Yeah, I didn't like it. I like they got the character right, like in terms of like the personality. They got that right.
Yeah, the weasel.
They stumbled, and like fell into like a pit of spikes, got mugged for all their money, and then got left in the alleyway when they came up with the design. That's
absolutely, man. But yeah, I'm glad they at least somewhat captured the essence of, oh, he's a weasel and he's like kissing up the Megatron. I wish we could have got more of that, because we literally only got that in like one scene.
So funny thing, they give you more of that, but it's not in the movie. It's in the video games. In the specifically the DS video game for Transformers. He starts off as this whole like, oh, I'm the leader of the Decepticons now while Megatron's absent or whatever. And then it picks up the same way it does in the movie, where he, like, the second Megatron shows up, he's like, I live to serve you, Lord Megatron.
Yeah, it's sorry, I'm trying to read the comments. What's up, Ruby? Glad you could make it. As much as we love to shit on them, the Michael Bay films walked and fell into a volcano 5 times, so the Bumblebee era could run.
Yes,
that's true.
Yes,
that is true.
Yes,
that is very true. And then, more Doritos comments. Doritos scream.
Yeah, that meant that you can't tell me that Starscream isn't like Cool Ranch flavored or something. Like, that's
something like Cool Ranch Chipotle. Actually, he's Chipotle the next.
All right, now he's that. Starscream is that hot chip challenge. That like that's what he looks like.
Facts. Oh man, and then Blue Jay says these other Decepticons have that chicken leg thing that I'm not so crazy about. Actually, you're not wrong.
A few of them do. Like, I think Bone Crusher also had that.
Yeah.
Or what? I don't remember if he was in the first film or not. Yeah. Yep. Yeah.
Chicken legs, and he has a tail too. He has that tail from the vehicle. What kind of vehicle is that? That he had like a a moving crane thing. Like, I mean, it was
Wow.
cool, but like, that's weird.
I used it in the fight and then died.
Yep, literally in that freeway, and that's all you see from him.
Yeah.
We didn't see him crush some bones. Is he actually a transformer in the G1 cartoon?
He is, I believe he's a part of, which, you know, I guess they add a team in the later film, but like he's a part, I believe he was a part of a combiner team. That being, I believe
Oh,
it was
Devastator, right?
No, well, yeah. So I believe that particular one though was a part of, I think, Bruticus, the Stunticons. But yeah, no, they have Devastator in the second one. Yeah, but
Yeah. Oh wait. We got to bring up this one thing. They did a major error from the lore. It was like a big oops where they had to fix it the next one, as you said. They called. Hold on, I'm trying to find a picture. Once again, it's just hard for me to find these pictures because they all look the same. Oh, there he is. They called this guy.
Brawl, yeah.
Yeah, but like, if you saw the movie, it called itself Devastator.
Yes.
And that, like, oh, that was a big error right there.
Yep. And even then, they messed up there because Brawl is supposed to be one of the Stunticons. He's supposed to combine into something.
Nope.
And like that's one of I feel like they actually got right.
Oh, hold on 1 second. You're breaking up again. Hold on. Okay, we're good. Go ahead. Now,
Okay.
What did you just say?
Yes, I mean, I feel like he's one of the other, like, pretty much the only other character design that they got right from the source material, because Brawl looks like that.
So he is a tank.
Yes, he is a tank, and he has the whole 2-barrel thing on his back with like the cool little, like, almost, military design on like the front, like that was him. That was him. Mm-hmm. And they just threw that character away.
I'm like, I guess this was a textbook example of Michael Bay does not know the source material, because how could you make that huge error that's Devastator?
It's not even that he doesn't know the source material. He's gone on record to say that he hates the source material.
Why do you get somebody that hates the source material to do a movie?
Yes, he thinks the Transformers are dumb. He thinks the blocky designs are dumb and would never work on live action. Look at the Bumblebee movie, though. And
right?
he thinks that the characters are all dumb, and it's like, what? Why'd you let him direct?
Yeah, like what is going on?
He had a couple good films, I will admit. But why did you let him direct?
You got rated R, Michael Bay, women. Wait, what was the three things that you said?
It was sports cars, women, and football. That's his top 3.
You're getting Armageddon, Bad Boys, The Rock. You're getting that director to do Transformers.
Which, I get it. He does like the big scale stuff with like all the explosions and everything. Yeah, okay. He's good at that, just not with Transformers.
No, and you could get any. Okay, I don't want to insult Michael Bay too much, because, as I said, as far as him directing action scenes, there's very few filmmakers that can do what he does. So I definitely got to give him respect on that. But if you're looking for someone who can give you spectacle in a film and still respect the source material, I don't think Michael Bay would be the first one you go to, right?
I mean, also with his previous films, and it shows in these films as well, when he has these action scenes between the humans, he's good at filming action scenes with humans. He has never had to film action scenes between 2 giant robots. That's
yeah. So it's you definitely could tell this is Michael Bay's first attempt at doing a science fiction epic like this. But yeah, man, why didn't Steven Spielberg direct this? He already is producing it, huh?
It would have been so much better.
It would have been so much better. He actually would have gave the source material more love and appreciation. He would have done the action scenes better. I think the character moments would have been better. I don't know if he was busy with other things. He probably is. He's a busy man. But man, how much better this movie would have been if Steven Spielberg directed Transformers movie. That would have been amazing. That would
One could dream.
One could dream. Yeah. Anyway, let's move on to these really continue with these really bad designs. Actually, okay, Blackout actually looks decent. I kind of dig his design.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think he looked good, especially for the purpose that he was meant to serve. Like he was the person that showed up during that first like horror half of the film. He's
Yeah,
the guy that shows up and deploys Scorponok to go hunt down the rest of the military group. Like
yeah,
he looks sinister. Like that is a bad mamma jamma right there. You don't want to mess with that guy.
absolutely. His opening scene attacking the base, my jaw dropped when I first saw that in the theater. It was that set the tone for the
Mhm.
rest of the
I
movie.
I remember as a kid, the second that they showed him there, they had nice like rotating
Hold
trans.
up, hold on, hold on. Blacked out again. Okay, continue.
All right, yeah. So I mean, he had that nice rotating shot, and then he had the second. I remember in my seat just leaning back like, but
Oh,
then
bruh.
yeah, then you see him just lay waste to that base. They didn't stand a chance.
Pew! That freaking ray that he does that just it causes like a freaking wave of incineration. Like, oh, well, that was so awesome. That was so
Hmm.
freaking cool. And then
Hmm.
he takes the helicopter thing. Yeah, as you said, like he takes the helicopter thing and spins it around and makes it like a sword weapon type
Yeah,
thing. I'm like,
like how do you beat somebody that has a helicopter propeller for an arm, man? You can't do that. You
yeah, bro. I'm like, hey, bro. Megatron got some competition. Megatron and Starscream got some competition.
I,
Like, who's the badass
yeah.
transformer?
No, I was sitting there. I remember sitting there like, man, like why isn't he leader?
Like seriously? Yeah, he doesn't say a word. He has no dialogue in
Mhm.
this
Yeah,
movie.
no, that's the thing too. He doesn't gloat. He doesn't say his master plan. He just shows up, wrecks everything, leaves.
Yep, love it. Absolutely love it. Um, true. Let's see. Moving. Wait. I don't remember. Is there a blackout in the original show too? I don't remember a
I
blackout.
believe there was. I don't remember what he looked like. Let me actually look that up. Go
But
G1. Yeah, there was.
oh,
He was actually not even a Decepticon. He was a Decepticon Micromaster, so one of the little tiny guys. And they
oh,
turned him into this big guy who deploys Scorponok, who in the original Transformers was this big, like, city transformer, and now he's this, little, albeit terrifying bot,
yeah. Let's move on and talk about Scorponok. Hold on. Okay. Yeah. So wasn't he?
Golly.
Yeah, this scene was awesome. I love this scene in the desert with the military people fighting Scorponok. It was totally badass, and it's like they needed an airstrike. They needed
Hmm.
like all that, and like
They didn't even kill him. They
didn't
didn't
even
even kill
kill
him.
it.
They got the tail.
Yep, that's all it did. That's how crazy this transformer was. So correct me if I'm wrong, but Scorponok actually was a scorpion in the show, right? That's what he
Yeah,
transformed.
he was a scorpion that also turned into like a big old base. Like he was, if you remember in the old cartoon, there was a Transformer Metroplex. He was like the rival to Metroplex.
Right.
And yeah, and like man, like it was amazing. I will admit one of the first things that comes to my mind when I think of that scene is left cheek, left cheek, left cheek. But
Hey, where's your credit card? Pocket! Which pocket? My back pocket! You got 10 back pockets! Left cheek! Left cheek! Left cheek!
right.
Dude, the accent was funny. That was really funny. Um, it's one of the things I can commend on with Michael Bay because for the most part, when he tries to do humor, it most of it falls flat. But like, there's a good at least half of the humor in this movie where I actually found myself chuckling at least.
I still bust out laughing with a good amount of the humor scenes in this movie. Like there are a few ones later on where it's like they try to make pop culture references, like when they get to the Sector 7 base and he's like, oh, that's Wolverine over there. It's like whatever, man.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, so Scorponok, yeah, it's funny. Like you said that he transformed into a vase and stuff like that, and like he's one of the smaller transformers. So that's very interesting. But I'm glad they
Hmm.
still kept him as a scorpion.
Hmm.
So I thought that was pretty cool. His overall design, I thought Scorpion uh form was cool. We don't see him in a human form. We just see him as a scorpion. Um,
Yeah.
al- Also, correct me if I'm wrong. Is he a transformer that likes to be in his form more than his actual like human form? At least I remember
From
some
what I
iterations where he prefers to be in his scorpion form more than his actual.
Yeah, from what I understand, I think he likes to be in his scorpion form a little more, which they definitely nailed the scorpion. But yeah, no, so I think that is also true to his character, though I think in the live action film they had no intention of giving him a human form anyways. Like it was just, oh no, he's an alien scorpion. Like, oh, all
Yeah.
right.
Okay. Sure. All right. Like
Cool.
like you believe like he doesn't even have one at all.
I don't believe he even has one. All the figures that he's ever had, never give him one.
That could be a possibility. They could treat him like those animal form.
Yeah, like he's kind of like treated like Laserbeak, where it's like, oh, he's got like this condor form. That's pretty much it.
Right. Now, my only nitpick with his form, my only nitpick, the googly eyes. I could not get over how big they made his eyes. It made it look a little cartoony in parts. Like
I mean, I honestly, I'm on the opposite side. I thought that those eyes made him a lot more terrifying. Like he's looking off in every different direction, and that's probably the one piece of the character design that you can actually tell what that is. It's like, oh, that's his eyes, and he sees everything. Okay.
I wish we saw more of that though, because I don't remember them like focusing on the eyes too much, where like you can actually see him looking at everywhere, like actually
Yeah.
seeing his eyes.
Yeah, it would have been cool if you would have gotten like a shot of him like Sector 7, like just up on like a wall, just looking all around and everything. Would have
Yeah, that
been
would.
creepy. That would have been cool.
Yeah, that would have been cool. All right, moving on. Let us go to this little shit, Frenzy.
Golly.
Yeah. Now, I actually thought it was cool that they actually got like a tiny transformer that's like the size of almost the size of a human. So it's like it's easier
Mhm.
for them to infiltrate certain areas and stuff like that. And then he transforms into a boombox and stuff like that. So I thought it was
Yeah, which is true to his character, and it was a nice nod to his origin. I remember sitting there during that whole film wondering, where's Rumble? You got Frenzy, where's Rumble? Where's Soundwave?
yeah, yeah. Like, dude, man, why Soundwave could have been in this movie? Like, instead of Barricade, they could have had Soundwave
Yeah,
in it.
they gave Barricade the whole like ejecting Frenzy thing, and it's like, oh.
I think, okay, man, but we get Soundwave in 2 and 3, and save that when we get there. But
Yeah, I got words for that one.
yeah, I got worse too. God, man. Um, but yeah, anyway, I like Frenzy in this movie. That he's the one hacking all the systems to figure out where the coordinates to the glasses are in the Allspark. So I thought that was really cool. And like, I
Mhm.
like he throws like little buzz saws,
little ninja stars and stuff. Yeah,
the
he's like,
stars. I'm like, damn, this
yeah.
guy's hardcore.
He's also the only character that actually had a little bit of mass shifting because he turns into Michaela's cell phone later on too.
He does. Yep. Yep. Man, he's like probably one of the most resourceful Decepticons in the movie.
Yeah, completely the opposite of how he is in the show. That's
he's like a throwaway.
yeah. Well, because in the show he's all just I like smashing things. Like he's just like he's Rumble's brother. They sit there with pile drivers for arms and just create earthquakes. That's what they do. That is their whole point. They like he even mispronounces words in the cartoon. In the 1986 film, he says, "How dare you?" Like nobody calls Soundwave unchrasmatic instead of uncharismatic.
Oh man, that would have been funny, but I don't trust Michael Bay to do that properly.
Mhm.
Yeah, but instead they have him just talking alien form.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like, that was
Yeah. As a kid, I remember hearing that, and I was like, I came like,
yeah, it's like a nasty little thing. But what I also liked is that I like that they gave the Transformers their own alien language. I thought that was pretty cool that they did that. Um, it would have been cooler if we saw the Autobots use that language more because they mostly just speak English.
Mhm.
But I did like that they established that they have their own language and stuff like that. So I thought that
Yeah,
was
I
cool.
gave him a whole alphabet. I'm pretty sure you can actually like decode everything now. I'm pretty sure they actually have like a proper alphabet decoder now, which is
Nice.
cool.
That's really
Cool.
cool. I like that a lot. Um, yeah, we talked about Barricade earlier. Let's talk about Barricade. Are you using Beyblade Man
I was gonna
217?
say,
Are you
where
using
are the
Beyblade?
glasses?
Where are the glasses? um, I thought it was pretty cool. Once again, I think his design is a little too busy. He
Mm-hmm.
literally just looks like walking spikes. Like
Mm-hmm.
everything is pointy, and his even his
Oh
face,
my
his
god.
like
Like
all that.
and like his weapon too, which is like, oh, he's got like one of his wheels for a weapon. How does that turn out? It looks like a spiky wheel. Like what?
Yeah, right. Like,
Whoa.
what is he doing with that? Like,
Right, right, right,
right
right. And like
now, yeah. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, and he was cool in the film. I liked how they did him in that film. And he's
Mhm.
not a character that ever appears in G1, which is also really cool. He's an original character. But
Oh, okay.
um I he could have been cooler.
Could have been.
Voiced by Keith David.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And like I'm like, well, why didn't you do that here? You got Keith David for the DS video game, but you couldn't get him for this.
I, I, I don't know. I don't know. Um, but yeah, like out of all the Decepticon designs, I mean, vehicles, I think he's the coolest. He's a police
Oh
car.
yeah. Oh
I
yeah.
like that. And you see on the side that he has like the Decepticon emblem on the police badge thing, and
Yep. And he
then you
has
see on the back it says "to punish and enslave." I thought,
yep.
oh,
Yep.
that is awesome. That's like the coolest police car I've
That
seen.
that vehicle design spawned so much cool stuff later on. Like there's this one guy, which I don't know if anyone in the comments is familiar with him. His name is Dr. Smooth or NG Smooth, and he did a bunch of like Transformers animations. And so he like one of the things he did was he had a rivalry between Prowl and Barricade because it's two cop car Transformers,
Right.
and like Barricade has the whole to punish and enslave, so they gave Prowl, and I think they even did it on some official figures. They gave him to serve and protect, which is like that. Like I like that. I like what that vehicle mode design did.
Yeah. Oh, broke up a little bit again.
Oop.
Hold on. Wait till you level out. There,
All right.
your screen's just like, oh, okay, you're starting to come back.
Okay. Okay. And Blue Jay knows who I'm talking about, Dr. Smooth, and like I like what they did there, and that was probably my favorite Decepticon in the entire film.
Um, yeah, I have to agree. It's between him and Blackout.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, definitely those were the standouts. Is that all of them? There was a lot of Decepticons in this movie.
Oh yeah, I feel like they always outnumber the Autobots, which
Mhm.
okay, but
Yeah, I guess that's something they wanted to stay true to the cartoon. They even had the tagline with the marketing that said, "Some have come to protect us, most come to destroy us." So it's like,
mm-hmm.
okay, that's a nice little tagline there.
It's an uphill battle. They're the underdogs. They're
Yeah,
in most continuities, the Autobots are a rebellion. So okay, yeah, that makes sense.
yep. Okay, so let's move on to the humans. It's time to talk about the humans, the people that everyone wants us to talk about. But no, for real though, they're like there are some good human characters in this. I'm gonna start off who I think are the best characters in this, and I'm sure it's a no-brainer. Sam and Michaela, played by Shia LaBeouf and Megan Fox. I actually really like them in this movie. Um, Man, I know like Shia LaBeouf today is very controversial, and I understandably so. People don't really like to talk about him nowadays, which I get that.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, Mister Do It, yeah,
yes,
yeah.
do it. But yeah, and like he's all muscular now with the big beard and stuff like that. So,
Mm-hmm.
but man, I've really enjoyed Shia LaBeouf in his earlier part of his career. Back in his Even Stevens era when he did Holes and stuff like that. Like he used to be
Hmm.
one of my favorite actors to watch. But yeah, I just watching this really reminded me that how much I miss the old Shia LaBeouf, man. I even enjoy him in his movies today. I think he's a really good actor. I wish he would get more stuff, but yeah, I really enjoyed him in this movie. Just the relatable teenage boy. Of course, the awkward nerd. I love Shia LaBeouf stuttering. I love his improv. Um, like most of the stuff that he said in this movie, at least got a chuckle out of me. But yeah, I found him very relatable. I thought he was likable. He had, even though he was awkward and stuff like that, he stumbled on his words. Like it just made him very endearing in this movie, and I really like the chemistry that he has with Megan Fox and Bumblebee in this movie. Like they really brought me to really like be invested in their journey overall. Um, and okay, Megan Fox as Michaela. So I know it will be easy for us to trash on Megan Fox that she's a trash actor. She's only there for her looks. Look what she did in the TMNT movie. She's horrible. Blah 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 blah. She's just there for eye candy. Yeah, she is there for eye candy. That's not a lie. I mean, look at this. Look at her, man.
And the most
Gosh.
iconic scene in all of Transformers. That's
Yeah, now I don't know what that says for the franchise in general. When that was one of the most iconic shots of the franchise, but yeah, you're not wrong though. But yeah, like of course Michael Bay can't resist getting those really attractive women to play these major characters in his movies. He can't resist.
it becomes so much more front and center in later films too. And like,
Yeah, man, it's like the later we get onto this franchise, the more hot they get. So it's like even like the other hacker in this movie, she's like really hot as well. I'm just
yeah,
like,
good lord, man.
goodness gracious. Like, okay, I don't want to insult any hackers out there in real life that are actually really attractive. I'm sure there's some really attractive women out there that are in like a similar field or whatever, or mechanics. Okay, but like you can't deny that like they dolled these women up in these movies. Like they like there
Hmm.
even like there'll be some scenes where like they're in an intense situation or a big action sequence, and their makeup still looks great. Like
Hmm.
come on now, or it
I,
looks presentable still.
I will say, kind of just something to point out. It's just a general thing among pretty much all the humans, outside of like the people that are like in like the military, war room or whatever, where they're like planning out whatever.
Mhm.
Almost every human looks like they're just always sweating. They just they all look sweaty.
Yep, yep. It's Michael Bay's oversaturation of the colors, and everyone looks like they're in a commercial, like with the
Hmm.
sweating and everything. Because
Hmm.
fun fact for people that don't know, Michael Bay has came from doing commercials, stuff like
Hmm.
that. So he definitely blended his style into his actual movies. Because like you see him doing like the sweeping shots with the characters and like rotating shots and like these exotic camera moves when like they're panning to it with a car, or when Megan Fox is like doing like a sexy pose, and you doing those like close-up zoom shots on him. Like you see the typical Michael Bay shots that he does. He does it in this movie. Like also I remember there was the one camera trick that he does that that I recognize in his other movies that he does, where you remember when the Secretary of Defense, Anthony Anderson, and the other people, John Turturro, was in that room fighting Frenzy, and they
Mm.
had that spinning shot of
Yes.
yeah, Frenzy shooting at
Yes.
them.
Yes.
them
That's like in
yep,
every film. That's like in every film of his. That's
yep,
it's a nice shot. It's a cool trick.
it's cool.
But yeah.
But it's
Yeah.
like he's not even trying to like diversify his direction at all. He's doing what he's
Yeah.
familiar with, which
Yeah.
I'm you know
Sleeve.
is
He's he's gonna
Yeah. But anyway, getting back to Megan Fox as Michaela. Okay, I don't care what people got to say. Like, y'all can make fun of me. That's whatever. But Megan Fox is one of the best characters in this movie. Like, no cap at all. No cap at all. As far as, okay, is she eye candy? Absolutely, she is. She is there to be hot. And yeah, the romance between Sam and Michaela, there's like half of it that does feel a bit cringe,
Yeah,
but there's half of it that actually was pretty cute and charming. You
yeah.
know?
I'll say she's top 4 for me
Yeah.
personally. Yeah.
But like they actually gave Michaela a backstory, like
Hmm.
with her, with her father being like a criminal or stuff like that, and her having a juvie record, and actually explaining why she's good with cars and stuff like that, and she used to be a thief and stuff like that. Like they actually made me feel sympathetic towards her character, and like she has really good chemistry with Shia outside of the bad dialogue that they forced to give to them, but they made it work. They made
Hmm.
it work the best they could, and I actually cared about her, about what happens to her. I care about what happens to both of them, and I actually was rooting for them to get together by the time they got to the end. Now, is it super realistic that a super hot girl like that would go for someone like Shia LaBeouf? No, no. This is definitely a fairy tale. This is definitely like a whimsical, Spielbergy type of stuff they're
Mm.
doing with the story. And but like I don't know, they made me buy into it. Like she wasn't a dumb character.
Oh yeah, no, I honestly found her a lot more interesting than Shia's character, even, which for those same
Right.
reasons, because she had more of a background that was more of like I was sitting here like, could we get a Michaela movie? Could we?
Like
Could we see?
I'm halfway funding one, or like
Right.
yeah, but yeah, I was really surprised how much I liked her in this movie. Again, people want to make fun of me on this, but like I think people need to give Megan Fox more credit than what they're giving her. Like there are definitely some movies where she's not very good,
Hmm.
but there's a couple movies that I saw from her outside the Transformers movies where I thought she was pretty solid. Like Jennifer's Body, I thought she was really good in that. I'm trying to think of what else I saw her in. Um, Shoot, I think that's probably the main one that like I'm like, oh, she's actually a really good actress. I think there's other movies that she was in the past couple years that I thought she was good in, but like, she's not. I mean, she's not that horrible, guys. I mean, yeah, we could talk about the TMNT movies. Like, yeah, she wasn't very good in that, but like, I
Yeah.
think if you give her good direction and good writing, she could do something with that. I think she could. Um. Anyway, okay, so the two characters who I think are the worst, though, the two I think are absolutely horrible, and they don't get any better as the movies go on. The parents.
God, yeah, no, they only get worse, honestly. Like,
Yeah,
they,
yeah, I
they,
hate
you
them.
know what? The dad peaked in the second film. He peaked in the second film because he had a pretty good character moment in the second film. That's it. That's it.
Yeah, that's probably. Yeah, I'll give you that. I'll give you that. They did try to
Hmm.
do some things with that, but
Hmm.
yeah, they were insufferable. Like that was the typical Michael Bay comedic humor was from those two characters, like the bad stuff. Like he's trying too hard to be funny, trying to make them comic
They,
relief.
they
But
were trying to relate to like a lot of the like pubescent kids where it's like, "Oh, these are the parents who don't get it." That man.
yeah, I just no. And like, why is there masturbation jokes in a Transformers movie? Why?
Man, yeah, no, that scene. Also, what was Sam's room's layout even? Like, what was that? It was just a bunch of like
I could,
metal shelves and
yeah, I couldn't even
like
tell. Like, yeah,
yeah, like I
yeah,
was like, is this his room or a storage room? Like, what is this?
yeah. There's a bunch of junk in his room.
Yeah.
Like I don't know. I mean, I get he's a geek and he does a bunch of stuff
Yeah,
or
but they
whatever.
they never like elaborate on like what his passions are, like what he does. It's just like it's a room full of junk. Like, you know, you couldn't even say something like, "Oh, he plays D&D, so it's like a lot of like D&D books or something like that," or he's really into technology, so he's got all this scrap metal or something in there, or he's a historian, so he really likes collecting like old artifacts, like his grandpa's glasses, which would have made a lot of sense. But
right? Yeah, it was interesting that they did the backstory of like his great grandfather was the one to first discover Megatron in the Arctic. So I thought that was interesting backstory that they tried to do with that.
yeah,
Um, okay, moving on. Let's go with. I mean, I guess we could talk about him briefly. He was only in one scene, but he was the one that helped bring Bumblebee and Sam together. Bernie Mac. The late Bernie Mac, may he rest in peace.
man, yeah. I all right, kind of like with this character, it's a little bit of a side note. When they showed the trailer for the Bumblebee movie and
Mhm.
had his line in the background for that trailer, it got me a little emotional. It got me a little emotional
Yeah,
because
I know. Yeah,
yeah, because
I love
like
Bernie Mac. Yeah.
yeah, because like for the short bit that he was in this movie, he was honestly like a really like enjoyable character. Not like a good character, but an enjoyable one.
Right. I mean, like the dialogue that they gave for him was actually pretty funny. Like
Hmm.
the one scene that he was in, and like when
Yeah, hey mammy.
hey man, man, and then he gives him the middle finger, like, man, if I gotta I'm gonna bust you on the back of your head, bitch. Man, that was entertaining. Bernie Mac, like, man, he was one of the best comedians out there, man. Uh,
Man.
but yeah, so he was good, and then John Turturro trying to get his picture of John Turturro. Where are you, John Turturro? You guys know what I'm talking about, the guy that the main guy is Sector 7 that gave
Hmm.
Sam and Michaela a bunch of shit. I thought he was
Oh, yeah.
solid. Okay, we'll use the lubricating one.
Yeah.
Bumblebee, stop lubricating the man. I'm like,
That was one of those jokes where I was like, oh, okay, really?
come on, Michael, come on now.
And also, they never show that again in the future. So it's like, what did do Transformers like? Do they secrete waste? Like, what's up with that? Like,
I don't know. I don't know. And like they did another pee joke when the Chihuahua peed on Ironhide. I'm like,
oh yeah,
why are we doing pee jokes? Why are we doing this? Like,
like, but that character, the times that he was on screen, even in future films, I feel like it always brings a smile to my face when that character shows up. John Turturro's character, because like he's just he's a comic relief character. He's meant to be you know the how did this guy get into like the secret sector thing or whatever? Like like I like I every once in a while I like that character. So I like how later on they kind of made him the retired war hero who so desperately wants to be back in his prime, but he just can't get back in his prime.
yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah. For the most part, I did like him. And he's another one of those characters that does the best with what he's given.
Hmm.
Like he whatever stuff that they give him, he does make it entertaining. And like, yeah, in 2 and 3 I still enjoy him. And like, yeah, as you said, when him acting like the old veteran that wants to get back into the action, like there was something entertaining about that. But
Hmm.
just like, I feel like as the movies go on, they make him a little too silly. And there was a point where I feel like he doesn't really even need to be in the franchise anymore.
Yeah, yeah, no, I mean, I feel like the last time that he was really needed, or the last time that like he was really a solid contribution in terms of like comic relief was probably the second film. Third film was all right, yes, and still brought a smile on my face. But the second one, he's got like certain moments in there. I'm like, okay, yeah, no, he's yeah, okay.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. I mean, and as far as everyone else, the military guys, thought they were cool. Tyrese
Hmm.
in there. Yeah, I thought they were pretty solid. They did their military thing. There's not too much to say. There's the one guy that has a wife and a daughter and wants to get back to
Yeah, the main guy.
yeah. And then there's the running joke of there's the one guy, the Mexican guy that kept speaking in Spanish and nobody understands what he's saying.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm like, okay, great.
Yeah,
Um,
once again leaning into the stereotypes.
yeah, a little too much. But yeah, I actually thought Tyrese was pretty solid in this. I sometimes I forget that he's in these movies because I always think of Fast and Furious with him.
Yeah, I thought he was like I enjoyed the side characters a lot more than the main characters. That's why, like Michaela's in my bottom four, because my top two were Anthony Anderson and I forget who played it was I forget who played like the hacker girl.
Oh, these were your top two.
Yeah, those were my top two. Like I really liked how they interacted and how they were reacting to what was happening around them, especially Anthony Anderson's character, because with the whole like interrogation scene, where he's sitting there like, oh, they gave us these, these donuts to test if you're guilty. I ate the plate, the
The
whole
whole plate. Oh my god. Rachel Taylor, that's her.
right, okay, yeah.
But yeah, I did. Okay, yeah, I did like them in the movie. I think they were pretty good, and they did have some entertaining scenes. Like also when they were trying to hack the thing at Anthony Anderson's house, and like, shut up, Grandma, drink your fruit juice.
Right,
Like,
right. Are you playing those games again? And then immediately the SWAT bust in, and that
right.
scene was memed like to this day.
No, no, don't go nobody on the carpet. She don't like nobody on the carpet, especially police. So yeah, that was funny. That was definitely funny, dude. What was actually hilarious is that I don't know, his homeboy, when he was getting chased by the FBI, he literally crashed into the window. I was
Yeah,
like, that was
yeah.
hilarious. I'm like, how did he just crash into the window like
Yeah,
that?
he like stopped. He's panicking. They just tackle him into the pool.
Yeah,
That always sends me. That always sends me.
that was cool. That was funny. Yeah, I guess I will say they were probably one of the better characters. I can't say that they're my favorite because they don't get as much development as Sam and
Yes,
Kayla. But
yes, and
like,
they are only in this one film, so it's
yeah, that's unfortunate. Why did they bring them back?
yeah. They mention them in the comics and everything, but that's it.
Like, yeah, they could have had like a good ragtag four team person,
Mm-hmm.
thing. Like they would have that would have
Mm-hmm.
been cool.
They,
Um, but unfortunately, we kept getting lame supporting characters after lame supporting characters in the sequels. Um, there's not really much to say about the Secretary of Defense. He was fine.
Yeah, he just, his main thing is, that he says is, oh, bring those boys home.
Yep.
Cool.
Meeting after meeting, just telling everybody what's going on, giving the
Mhm.
exposition and stuff. So
Fantastic. Like I think he was great in that role with what he was given, but
yeah,
yeah. I mean, I sometimes forget, like, my memory substitutes him with Anthony Hopkins for some reason, but like,
I mean, I
yeah,
don't blame you. I don't
yeah,
blame you.
yeah.
But
Like
yeah,
I just never remember that he's there.
yeah. And it's funny because Anthony Hopkins ends up showing up in this franchise.
God, and we'll get to it, but they wasted him. They
Oh,
really did.
oh,
But
they
we'll,
sure
we'll, we'll
did.
get to that.
We'll get to that when we get there. But I guess that's all like the noteworthy characters. So I wanted to talk about like the changes they did to their to the actual like lore of the Transformers, like where they came from, the backstory, how they're created. So in this movie, they established that the Allspark, like, is the giant cube, is what created the Transformers. And you can let me know how much they deviate from this because I don't remember.
Already,
Already, that's
they
already it.
deviated.
Okay.
Because I mean, I think the Allspark, the original cartoon and comic, Sigma, that was what
Oh, hold on, you're
essentially
breaking. Hold
created.
on, break it up. Hold on. Okay, start
All
over.
right. So in the original cartoon, they had this thing called Vector Sigma. It was essentially the thing that created everything from the start for Transformers, anyways. So already they deviated. It was it was an all right deviation, but already they deviated.
I was like, before time began, there was the cube.
Yeah, and immediately I'm sitting there as a Transformers fan, like, Cube. Hmm?
Like, cube? What cube?
Right.
So yeah, so there is an Allspark in the cartoon, right? But it's not
I
exactly the.
believe so.
because I remember that term being used in the shows, but I don't know if it was. I don't think it's a cube.
No, so yeah, it wasn't like actually shown in the cartoon, but yeah, mentioned, yeah.
Hmm. So okay, already deviating. So they say that the Allspark is this cube that created the Transformers. So they don't really explain how it created Cybertron and stuff like that, but I guess they leave that to the interpretation.
Kind of later with stuff that they put in, which is actually, added lore from other source material and everything, but they do a lot of retcons, and that's one of them.
Oh, the retcons in this franchise. Man, I thought the X-Men films were bad.
I thought Star Wars was bad with its retcons, man.
It's so ridiculous in these movies. We'll talk about them when we get there. But okay, that's another thing. So keep this in mind, ladies and gentlemen, who's watching this, because you're gonna go through each backstory that they established in the movies, and I want you to pay attention to how
The thing that they retell 5 times.
5 times. So in this movie, they established the first interaction with Transformers on Earth is Megatron following the trace of the Allspark to Earth. Megatron crash lands into the Arctic and has been there for thousands of years, and that's the first contact that the humans have with the Transformers. I want you to keep that in mind as we move on to the other movies, but that's what they tell us. The first time they know about Transformers is Megatron crash landing into the Arctic.
Yes, and side note, while we're still talking about the Allspark, I love how pretty much all these films can boil down to there's an artifact. We need to go get it. There's an artifact. We need to go get it. There's an artifact. We need to go.
There's a MacGuffin. We need it. There's a MacGuffin. We need it. Then we get the Matrix of Leadership, where I'm like, wait, where was the Matrix of Leadership in the previous movie? Like
the Matrix of Leadership, the seed, the pillars, the.
Oh, this Transformer landed here. Oh, this Transformer was here the whole time. Oh, this Transformer was here. Okay. But anyway, I digress. So another thing that I noticed. Okay, so as far as the forms of the Transformers before they get to Earth, so there's like a big inconsistency there. So they all were gray robots before they got to Earth.
So they made and I still have it somewhere, but they made toys of the, like, they call them protoforms of the Transformers, which already that's also another deviation, calling them
protoforms. Like what?
Yeah.
Uh-oh. Froze up. Hold on. Uh-oh. Dang. Apologize for signal. Hold on. Okay. Sorry guys, I don't know what's going on with Big B's signal. Like I checked everything before we came on. But okay, go ahead, man. Go ahead.
Yeah, it might be something to workshop later. But no, protoforms are kind of meant to be like these infant Transformers, or it's meant to be like the ones that stay out of the war. Protoforms, that's what they are.
Right.
So already that's a deviation right there. But they all are gray robots that have, in the toys at least, they have some slight, thing from like their original counterparts that kind of tells you, oh, this is this person, this is that person. But what's weird though is that they all transform into meteors. That's just their vehicle mode. They all transform into
meteors. Yeah.
Except for Megatron, he's different.
Yeah, he's somehow the only alien plane.
Yeah,
that was really odd.
They even retconned that in the third film, but we'll get to that.
Yeah. But yeah, I wish that like we saw them like all the Transformers had like their distinct looks. That they have their own alien versions of the vehicles that they transform into, but they still have their main primary colors and like how they look, the forms or whatever. So I wish they kept that, because like having them all start out as gray robots. Like, how can you tell who is who? You know, so like
Yeah.
that was weird, very weird. Um, but and how cool it would have been to see the Transformers in their like their alien vehicle forms, like all their distinct stuff. That would have been cool to see.
Yeah, which once again, that's another retcon that they do, but that's outside of the
Mhm.
films, that's in the video games because they wanted to make all that connected, so it's.
That's great. That's great. And then like how they get the well, I think it's pretty similar to how it is from the cartoon because like they scan a vehicle and then they turn
Hmm.
into that vehicle, so they kept that consistent.
Hmm.
Now, what they don't keep consistent is we get to the fourth film where it's like, okay, they're rusted up and beaten up and their gears are falling off and stuff like that, but them scanning a vehicle to turn to a new vehicle, they should just be turned
Yeah,
into
it's like all the rust melts away, and
but yeah, I'm getting too far ahead. We'll rant about that when we get there. But like, I'm glad they at least kept that consistent. So that's cool. Um, okay, so I think I think that's all I want to cover with the movies. Anything you want to bring up before we start closing it out?
mm, I mean, I think that's pretty much it. I mean, all things considered, as much as I like to rant about these films, I like what this first film did to establish that universe, but yeah, I mean, it's a mixed bag. It's a mixed bag, but yeah.
Yeah. So it's time to go to final thoughts and grades. Then overall, I still like this movie. I enjoy watching it. There's a lot of really good things about this film, as far as like the special effects and the action scenes. Like I still think they're very good. They still hold up to this day. It's really groundbreaking how they're able to have these transformers like translate to the modern day. It all looks really cool. Um, I thought yeah, there were some issues with them translating this from the original cartoon. They definitely took a lot of liberties, but no, the stuff that did feel more faithful to the original cartoon, I thought was still pretty good. Optimus Prime, I still thought was great. I really liked Megatron. Um, yeah, I liked Optimus Prime and Megatron. Everyone else is like a kind of a mixed bag as far as them translating from the original cartoon. Though I think we said earlier, Barricade and Blackout definitely were the standouts as far as the Decepticons.
Hmm.
Um, Bumblebee,
He's
I,
the mascot, I guess.
he's the mascot. I mean, he does his job being the mascot, and like he does have some good scenes with the humans. But like, yeah, if you're a hardcore Bumblebee fan, I get why you'd be upset with this
Yeah,
film.
yeah,
Um, and as far as the Autobots and Decepticons, that dynamic, I still thought that still kept pretty consistent. The humans, for the most part, were pretty solid. I wasn't mad at them. For the most part, I liked them. Um, I definitely thought Shia LaBeouf and Megan Fox, in my opinion, were the standouts behind and Anthony Anderson and Rachel Taylor's right behind them. I thought they were the standouts. The only two I hated was the parents. I thought they were awful, but everyone else was fine. The military people were cool. Everyone else was cool. But yeah, I just wish that the story was more the story was more coherent. I mean, it was a straightforward story for the most part. It didn't do too much stuff that was confusing, but I wish there was just more meat to the plot. I wish they made the Transformers a little bit more front and center, but I understand they wanted to have that extraterrestrial alien invasion type of feel for the movie, so it worked for this film. And I wish that the action scenes were done better. Like I wish they didn't use so much close-ups and shaky cam for this. Like we want to see the Transformers in frame, man. We want to see them actually fight. And then the designs of the Transformers, there's some that I liked, and then there's some that I felt that it was too much. It was overly complicated. There were too many parts going on. So I wish that some of the designs were like more simplified, because there was nothing wrong with the simplified designs. Like the Starscream design was awful. The Ratchet's design didn't like. Barricades was too busy. Ironhide looked too chunky. Like, I wish they just kept it simple. But for the most part, this was a solid start to the Michael Bay Transformers universe. It was a solid start, and it did get me interested to see more from this franchise. Unfortunately, stuff happened with the other sequels that we didn't like, but still, this as a movie by itself, I thought it was pretty solid. It was a good movie. So overall, I will give Transformers 2007. I'll give it a solid B. It's a good movie. It's a good movie. All right, go ahead, Big B.
Yeah, so I mean, I like this film. I like looking back at it every once in a while. I like watching it and the third film and then just ignoring the rest. um, I think it captures the soul of all of the Transformers that it tries to portray. The human characters that it tries to portray, I think it doesn't really capture their souls at all for the ones that they're meant to reference from the cartoon. But, I think they did good overall. I think the human characters in this are probably the strongest that they are in any part of this franchise outside of Bumblebee. I think that the Autobot and Decepticon cast is also probably, well, the Decepticon cast I think gets stronger in a later film that we'll get to, but I think the Autobot cast here is probably the strongest that it is in any part of the franchise. So I love that aspect of it, but like I said, it's not it's not my favorite. I don't hate it. I don't entirely love it. It passes for me. So I mean, I'd give it a solid C.
Oh, I did not expect that.
It's all right. It's an all right film. It is okay.
Yeah, it's okay. All right, well, those are our thoughts on Transformers 2007. What did you guys think about it? Did you guys love it? Did you guys hate it? Did you guys think it was okay? Comment your thoughts down below and let me know. If you guys enjoyed this live stream, please don't forget to leave a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. That would be great. All you ninja watchers out there, don't be ninja watchers. If you like what I do, if you watch more than 3 of my stuff, you enjoy watching my channel. So make sure you're subscribed and like the video, And if you want to be notified on future videos I'll be doing, please hit the bell while you're at it. Go ahead and plug your stuff, Big B.
Yeah, I mean, you can find me on Twitter at If It Ain't My Beard. It's listed right below me here. You can also find me, at Big B as well, which is also over there somewhere. It's hard to point. And if you are interested in more Transformers content from me, I do figure reviews, and that's a Red, White, and Blue Streak. You can find me right there. Every week I should pop up. Would love to have more people there. So,
Oh yeah. All right. So the next Transformers film we will be covering is Transformers: Revenge of the Fallen.
I'm sorry, I don't know that film. Does that exist?
Unfortunately, it does. Yeah, we'll be talking about that one. God, tune in for that when it comes out. Oh man, that's gonna be a stream. But anyway, that's all we have for you, Transformers fans. And we will see you guys next time. Talk to you guys later. Autobots, roll out.